Welcome, everyone. This is Charmed Life, and I am Tricia Carr. This is my podcast being live streamed, and I do have a wonderful guest today. I'm very excited. It's all I could do to not start chatting away with her before we started live streaming. So we have so much in common, and we're going to be talking about dream work, and we're also going to be talking about crisis. And wow, I'm super excited to talk to my guest. I'm going to introduce in just a moment. And before I do, I wanted to encourage you to check all of the links in the show notes here, of course. And then also to like, subscribe, share, comment, and click that little bell so you get notifications. And some people are joining us live right now. Welcome, welcome. If you're here live, I would love for you to drop a comment, say, ask a question, anything you would like. And also, just those of you who are watching in the replay, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you know when we're actually doing these live events, because I have amazing guests, and then sometimes I actually just come on and do a little teaching. And then also, I want you to check the show notes to join my mailing list, because that's how you can stay on top of when these broadcasts are happening. But also, I have so many programs that I'm offering, and that's where you're going to be able to hear about them first, as well as things when there'll be discounts on them, when there will be also like specials when I launch something new, and just other kinds of special gifts that come out there. As well as, I like to give you articles and insight. So I feel like it's a really good invitation to sign up for my mailing list, because it keeps you on top of things, keeps us connected. And having said that, I wanted to just highlight a couple of things. And one of them is that I have started a new wonderful space called Sacred Sphere. And I'm putting the link right in there for us. This is a community that is incredibly powerful. It has three different purposes. One is, well, it has many different purposes. I think it has like five, but let's talk about community, of course. But I'm also going to be teaching and leading a meditation in these spaces. It's called Sacred Sphere because we will be coming together for intuition development. That means intuition for your own life, also intuitive ability, as in psychic ability development, and manifestation development. Now, if you aren't a person who is interested in opening your psychic abilities, no problem, because we have all kinds of experts there who do want to practice with other people. And even if you are a person who has a psychic ability or an intuitive ability and you just don't feel like doing it for that session, also no problem, because you can receive readings or you can practice your manifestation techniques that we are focusing on. I'm really excited about this. So, this is why I want to make sure everyone hears about it. It's going to be big and bold and beautiful and life changing for us individually, as well as for this planet. I said that it's big and bold, ain't it? I intended it. So, check Sacred Sphere. The next meeting, we're meeting twice per month, and you can also just drop in. The next meeting is not this coming October 15th, but the following. That is this following Sunday. I think that's the 22nd. You're going to have to check it out, because dates just fly out of my brain hole. So that's the first thing. But I also want to talk to you about what's coming up this Sunday in Modern Mystic, which is a live channeling session. I stay in the channeled state for like 90 minutes, and people ask questions for their own personal life. They ask about, certain metaphysical, mystical, universal concepts. It's like a combination of Abraham Hicks and Bashar, Daryl Anka's channeling. I have a moderator there who is bringing in your questions. We did Archangel Michael last month, and I'm still reeling from it. So that is coming up this Sunday. You can either subscribe to Modern Mystic, which is only $11 a month, y'all. You can read all about that, or you could drop in. So check out the link that I have there it's going to be in the show notes as well. Or you just go to my website and find subscription under Work With Me, and you'll find it there. Now, that's what I have for you. Although I also want to say, hang on till past the interview, because I have a very special exclusive piece of 5-minute content that I want to share with you that is from my Archangel Michael channeling. So now I am ready to welcome my guest. I can hardly wait to talk to this person, Kelly Sullivan Walden, aka Dr. Dream. Kelly is an award winning international best selling author of 10 books, and her latest is A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste: The Art of Transforming the Tragic into Magic. Now, this is really cool. I'm going to bring Kelly on. Kelly, I'm going to keep talking about you just a minute while we get while we get this going, because I want to talk about before I'm going to change my banner too. This is what live production is like when you don't have a producer. When I had
That's
still haven't
impressive.
Well, I still haven't brought a producer back since the pandemic, but I've been getting all right with it. But I want to say Kelly has had the honor of interpreting dreams for Dr. Oz, who I love, Ricky Lake, George Norrie of Coast to Coast, the hosts from The Real, Topher Grace, and The Housewives of New York, and OC, and many more. And she's also the best-selling author of 6 Oracle decks. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thank you, Trisha. I'm so happy to finally connect. It's wonderful to be with you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to hear all about your journey and the work you're doing. And I understand you're also a clinical hypnotherapist, which I don't know if you know, but I am as well. So I'm
I'm not
interested in
surprised.
I'm a graduate of HMI College of
Me
Hypnotherapy.
too.
Oh,
Oh my
see,
God.
I didn't
I'm
look up
g-
your website. I was going to ask you.
I'm going to be
I didn't
speaking at the
No
AHA
way.
in next month. Next month, I'll be the
Really?
featured
On
speaker. Yeah.
dreams?
Yes.
And so I'm a teacher there as well.
Oh my God. So you know George Kappas.
Of course I do.
I
Yes,
love
I do.
George.
When did you
Wow.
graduate?
I was around when John Kappas was still teaching.
No, I love him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
father
He was
figure to me. Oh,
the
I love him.
father figure. Yeah. So, ooh, that's been, I want to say, at least 25 years ago.
Amazing. Did you know Florence as well?
I was there for one event with her. Yes, I was
Okay.
in the room with Florence Henderson, the mom from the Brady
Mm,
Bunch. And she's the reason I even went. I
oh,
was having, oh, this is just giving me
me
goosies.
too. I'm so glad we
Back,
discovered it while we're
I
on with everyone.
I know. I was having exactly where I was. I was in a very, very dark time in my life, and I had the radio on, the actual, like, AM, FM radio, 'cause
Mhm.
that was how long ago.
That was the internet, y'all. That's what
Yes,
it was
that
like.
was and on comes a commercial for HMI, and it's Florence Henderson talking about,
Really?
"Are you a person who likes to help people? Do you really get genuine joy from" I'm like, "Yes, yes, all of those things." She's like, "Well, you should come for an introduction day." I'm like, "Okay, Florence Henderson, I trust you. I'll go anywhere with you." And that's how I got connected to HMI, and
That's
it
so
changed my
amazing.
whole life.
Yeah, that's so amazing. So, for the audience, Florence Henderson, who was Carol Brady, I think everyone knows it, even if a person's, that's way before their time. Florence Henderson was married to Dr. John Kappas, who is the founder of HMI College of Hypnotherapy, and Dr. Kappas has passed. I think he passed in 2013. Is that right?
I
Something
don't
like that.
remember.
I
Yeah,
think he passed in
probably.
2013. And so
Mhm.
the school is now run by his family still. George Kappas is the director, and so you guys have heard me talk about HMI. I have at least 10 people now who've gone to HMI upon my recommendation.
Wow!
I'm
Oh,
clearly a
that's so
fan.
good.
And I'm a teacher. I teach there. I teach the practicum workshops, and I teach a couple of courses in the 401 and in the 501. I teach content marketing for hypnotherapists and podcasting and things like that. And they have a second year program. I don't know if you've heard about it, Mind Body Psychology. Oh,
Oh, he was just telling me about that the other day. It sounds really
oh, did
cool.
you talk to George recently? Oh, that's
Yes,
neat.
yes.
Okay,
I
great.
interviewed him. I got invited by Wired magazine to do a piece on cyber therapy
Yes,
after like post pandemic.
yes.
So I wrote a piece that did really well in Wired, and I thought I'm going to interview George because
Oh,
he
I
knows
love
a
it.
lot about like how did hypnotherapy transition during the pandemic and how
Mhm.
has it still stuck. So I recently, after all so many years, had a great deep dive conversation with George
Amazing.
Kappas.
So
Yeah.
George has been on my podcast before, everyone, so I'll have to link
Yes.
it down below because he's wonderful. Yes, well, I was
He
actually
is
in
wonderful.
school I started 2019 and ended in 2020. So my program
Oh,
was all the first, the last 6 weeks we had the pandemic of my program. So,
wow.
we actually did the transition, so I was in person like you for most of it, and then I created even while I was still in school, George was like, because 'cause I'd been doing, my practice as an intuitive on Zoom and online, that's just how I'd always done it. I had a few people in person, but I mostly just did it in online. That's just was my vision. I was like, "Why be local when you could be non-local and local?" And so he asked me to help him to create how there's a class in the 401, which is part of the, it's called How to Create a Professional Zoom Room in the Comfort of Your Own Home. And so I did that class, but George actually kind of did it with me, and that was so while I was still in school
Oh my
there,
God. That's so
I got to
amazing.
teach while I was still in school there, which was kind of cool. So anyway,
That is very cool. Okay, this is all like this is great. Okay, I
such
knew
great
there was like
synchronicity.
1,000 points of connection between us.
And
That's
so,
great.
HMI does talk about dream therapy. And so but I want to hear all about how you developed into all of the areas that you are in. So let's get back to you. George, you're welcome.
We love you,
We
George.
loved you, George.
We love you,
I'll have
George.
to listen to it.
Oh, yes, we do. Yeah.
Yes. And oh, before we move on from HMI, I just want to say, everyone, if you are looking for some support, if you're interested in hypnosis and your budget can't afford it right now, HMI you can submit to be able to receive free sessions with a qualified certified master hypnotist, someone who's still in their clinical residency being overseen by one of the instructors at HMI College of Hypnotherapy. And so I will link that below, but I'll just say it out loud too. It's hypnosis.edu/sessions. I know many people who have partaken of that. It will change your life. So now
Mm.
back to
Ooh,
Kelly.
well done. That was great.
So let me hear all about your journey and the work you're doing because it's powerful.
Well, I'll just say that I hypnotherapy was a massive life changer for me as a client
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
as a hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
And as I started to see clients professionally, I was really taken in by the dream work that HMI offered.
Yeah.
That was so riveting to me because I was always a big dreamer.
Hmm.
And my one of the interesting things that people tend to think is interesting about my past is my sister, who also went to HMI. Shannon, she and
What's her name?
I have her name's Shannon, and
Okay.
I have there's 5 girls in my family,
Hmm.
only girls, just like with you as
We were
well.
talking about
Well,
it before.
yeah,
There's like a
and
thousand, but yes,
uh,
they're all girls.
yes, yeah, all girls. Anyway, my sister closest in age to me, we in growing up, we always shared a bedroom, and we had what's known as tandem dreaming
Oh, yes.
as kids.
Wonderful.
So
Hmm.
as kids, we were in the same dream at the same time.
Yeah.
And in the morning we would reflect upon it and we would be astonished that we could finish each other's sentences as we were describing the dream. So that was
Yeah.
having a partner in crime, so to speak,
Hmm.
helped me to stay connected to dreams even after, most kids kind of grow out of them. They become more fixated with the outer world. I really had a strong dream bridge because I would say my sister. So once I went to HMI and learned about the dream work, I started to bring that to my clients. And
Hmm.
I always found that no matter what was happening in the life of my client or with their issues, if they were able to bring in a dream,
Hmm.
we would it's like we would crack the case so much more quickly.
Yeah.
The dream would reveal it was like it would reveal their subconscious cards. It would
Yeah.
put it on the table in conscious view. So it was like I was a detective. And the
Mhm.
moment a dream was in the space, it was like all the clues we needed were right there. So that became a part of my practice. People started to feel comfortable telling me dreams, whether professionally or just friends. And at some point, I was in a meeting with a publisher about a completely different book, and she stopped me mid-sentence and said, "Nope." No offense, but why don't you write a book about dreams? And I said, like, it just felt dumbfounding to me. Like, that is the most ridiculous thing. There's already books out on the market about dreams, and I don't have anything unique to
Yeah,
bring to
it's
it.
always the case, right?
She said, I think you do because you have a naturally positive perspective, even about the very dark, like the darkest dreams. Because she and I talked about dreams a lot.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm always really inspired by your take on my dreams, even when I tell you my dreams that are so shameful or
Mm.
so like hideous, you get excited about them and you have a like this interesting take on them. I told this to my husband and he also got this very similar thing. He was like, "Yes." And I'm like, "What?" I felt like the world was conspiring against me. And so like, "Wait, I am clued out of this." and sometimes I realize sometimes the things that we are
Yes.
most gifted in or what we're here to give are not necessarily obvious to us because we can't see what we bring. We take ourselves for granted. I know for myself, I always wanted to do the things that were the hardest, the
Yeah.
most out of reach, the things that were easy and simple, like, who wants that? But I did write a book proposal, and my book, it was called, I Had the Strangest Dream, The
Oh, that's
Dreamer's
great.
Dictionary for the 21st Century. And almost immediately it sold 20,000 copies, and I started to become known as Dr. Dream, and that led to a book, and another publishing company asking for another book on dreams, and then without even meaning to, while I was trying to pursue this over here, this was pursuing me.
Right.
And so now I'm ten books in, and I always think, okay, I'm done with dreams. I've gotten to the bottom of it. I'm done. And then bam, I get, inspired once again. Every time I talk about dreams, I'm freshly in awe at the way they reveal to us the wisdom that is our own wisdom. It's like it's revealing a code for like an account, like a business account of like wealth that is ours,
Yeah.
that our dreams give us access to, that our ordinary limited thinking just kind of misses. So this has kind of brought me here, and I guess the to tie up the last little bit, most people seem to come to me because they have very difficult dreams. I don't think people typically want to spend money on therapy unless they're in trouble, unless they're having a difficult time. So I've gotten really good at helping people with their nightmares, and
Mm,
that has translated into waking life nightmares as well.
yeah.
So I have sort of become an alchemist, and I love to teach other people how to do that. And I
Mhm.
and I wrote my latest book, A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste. Where is it? Right over there somewhere.
Yes.
Full of my own stories, both nightmares in the sleeping realm and also waking life, horrible challenges that I've been through that I have mined the gold from, and I teach a formula in the book for how other people can do the same. That leads me to you, Trisha, my sister from another mister.
I know, right? Or, somehow Dr. Kappas, I think, helped to bring us together.
Exactly,
And,
without even trying.
oh, that's amazing at that end, the synchronicity of what you're talking about, the thing that, that is pursuing you and the thing that you think is so obvious or easy or what else do I have to contribute is it's something I just said it to one of my mentees like 2 days ago. And I was like, and also actually at HMI, because I teach people how to use social media for marketing, because
Mm,
as hypnotherapists, we have the wonderful problem that our clients don't need us very, shortly. After 6,
right,
7, 10, 12 sessions most, they don't really need us
right.
anymore because
It's so true.
it's
Our
wonderful.
job is to work our way out of a job,
Yeah,
which is a
to
great
get
thing.
fired.
Exactly, to
Not
not
really.
be needed.
Right,
Right. And
right.
then we have to discover new ways to be relevant, which is good
Exactly.
for us.
It's
We
so good.
don't just get to rest on our laurels.
Yeah, I mean, and we have clients who continue to see us
Yeah,
occasionally throughout the year. It's like little
sure.
tune-ups, but
Right.
still we are constantly, you know, letting ourselves be found, let's say that. But with my
Yes.
social media marketing, when I'm teaching content marketing to these new hypnotherapists, that's what they're like, I don't know what I would say. And I'm like, anything that you're excited about, I
Mhm.
promise you'll say it a different way. You will. And
Yeah.
it will come through you, through the fractal of God's source
Mhm.
universal light that is you, that is unique, and it'll come through that way. So I love
Mm.
that. Thank you for reminding me of that for myself as well. And I want to know how to how do you, with your new book that is a crisis terrible thing to waste, and this is also bringing in DreamWork. So can you
Mm.
help us to understand how dreams help us to work through crisis in those practical
Oh.
ways as well as those spiritual ways?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think let me see. There's so many ways I can answer that.
Right.
I think every dream we have is trying to help us be better in our lives,
Yeah.
whether it's I think if we were to just get really simple about it, we could say that every dream is either helping us to A, let go of the baggage that we no longer need to carry, or to shine a light on those limited beliefs and habitual thoughts that are erroneous. So we could say those are like the venting dreams, the
Yes.
dreams that are helping us to let go of the shackles
Mm.
that are unnecessary, or our dreams are helping us to propel forward
Mhm.
toward the next dimension, toward the next horizon. So I think our dreams really, if we look at any one dream, there's not one definition or one way of looking at any dream. I think dreams are like a diamond and there's
Mhm.
multi facets to each one. But our dreams are helping us to unravel. Um, and they often will reveal, sometimes it seems like the worst thing when our dreams reveal. This is why I get so excited about nightmares, because
Mhm.
we can't heal what we can't feel. So
Mm,
if we
mhm.
have a nightmare and it brings up our rage, I just had a dream group last night with the kindest woman who is just the most sweet, loving mother type, said that she had a dream where she was running around with an axe to kill people. And I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
that's awesome. That is so good. 'Cause that energy, you have suppressed it all your life.
Yeah, yeah.
And you are finally at a place where your subconscious feels that you are stable enough and safe enough
Mhm.
to have a perfectly safe place to express that rage and to get it out of your body so that you don't have to harness it inside,
Yeah.
because that can become illness in the body. It becomes this suppression of our light. So I think sometimes it helps us to vent so that when we wake up in the morning, we can go about our lives as socially acceptable citizens. We don't have to get arrested. We don't have to actually get out an axe and hurt anybody, but we have the catharsis as if we
Yes.
did. So, and then also our dreams will reveal wisdom to help give us guidance. I mean, there was one, this is a personal dream of mine. Should I don't know what our time's like, but I
Oh,
can
we're
make it
fine.
short.
No, whatever you yeah, we're good. If you wanna share,
Well,
we'd love to hear it.
so this was, I was having a rough patch with my husband.
Mhm.
We are both really strong personalities. Like, who's the alpha? I'm the alpha. No, I'm the alpha. Anyway, it was, we just couldn't solve the challenge we were in the midst of. And it was going on a couple of weeks. And I'm like, this is killing me. So I made a declaration. I say that we don't just set an intention before going to sleep to
Mm.
have a breakthrough, that we make a declaration that I will have a breakthrough tonight. Dreams help me.
Yes.
And before I went to sleep, I was like, I don't want just an ordinary dream. Fix it.
Dang it.
Period. Good
Dang it.
night. Yeah. I got a little saucy with my dreams, and I think we can do that. I don't think our dreams mind. I think
They're like,
clarity is good.
"Finally."
Finally, she's really listening. So in my dream, I see my husband as this adorable little boy, and
No.
I know it's him. I'm looking at him from the back, and he's playing with toys, and he's like maybe 2 or 3. And I'm like, "Oh my god, he's so precious. Oh
Mhm.
my god, I love him." And and then this, it was like this sort of angelic voice behind me that said, "So why not just try loving him?" And I argue with the angel. I'm like, "Because sometimes he's a jerk and he doesn't deserve it." And this voice just kept saying, "Why not just try loving him?" Wha And I'm like, "Oh my god. Okay, fine. Fine."
So
So I just
rude.
let Come on, but don't you, can you just acknowledge that I'm right? Can't you just acknowledge, please? So it's like this, why not just try loving him? Why not just try loving
Mm,
him? So I finally said, "Okay, fine." And I let my guard down, and
mhm,
I was filled with this unfathomably powerful light that just emitted through me and around Dana, my husband. And
mm,
I woke up in the morning feeling changed, feeling like I was in that embrace. And I looked over at him while he was still sleeping, and I just loved him.
yeah.
And we didn't even talk about what our challenge was. It was like the spell was broken and it was gone, and we moved on. And I couldn't even remember what it was we were fighting about, but the dream fixed it.
Mm,
And I think it can do that on a very personal level, as well as bigger issues, like maybe in our in our careers, even in the world, if I may be so bold.
Oh,
I
sure, you
think as
can.
the world is, it's like it's a microcosm. We are a
Mm,
microcosm of not just the world, but the universe. And these discordant places in us, I think as we heal them and become willing to bring some light to them, I think we do offer that light to the universe. It may be the best offering that we can give.
oh,
Yeah.
that's so inspired. It's so inspiring. One time this is waking, but meditating or speaking to your guides is an altered state. It's like waking
Yeah.
dreaming. And that's actually
Yes.
what Freud was trying to do. Freud actually wanted to induce a waking dream
Mm.
state in order to be able
Oh,
to
interesting.
fix things. So, yeah, and so
Oh,
I
that's
actually
brilliant.
was talking to my guides and I had a vision, a goal, how do I create this? And it's kind of like it might have been the same angel because they said to me, love yourself into that. And I was like, again, I argued. I was like, what? Come on. There must be some
Come on.
doing. Isn't there an application I can fill out? Is there some way that I can work my fingers to the bone? That's too hard. Love myself into it's crazy.
Exactly. Come on. When I'll do that like if all else fails, then I'll do that.
Exactly, right.
That's
Get
just cheating.
yeah, exactly. Now, I
Yeah.
want to just point out to the audience we have the same background with HMI, and the HMI, we've mentioned it a couple of times, venting dreams that we learned from Dr. Kappas. We have 3 stages of dreamings. The final stage of dreaming, which I've noticed, Kelly, can occur anywhere from about the midpoint of your normal sleep cycle until the you know what I mean? It's like the first 2 stages of dreaming move faster than the last stage. So if I normally sleep 8 hours, the last stage seems to be able to start to happen at the 4 to 8 hour mark. It could be right when you're waking, but it can be midway too. Does that make sense
Right.
to you? Is that what you've noticed?
Yeah,
Hmm.
well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at that. I
Oh,
would
for
just say
yourself,
it but for
Yeah,
myself, it does
yeah,
seem that the dreams that are the easiest to catch because
yeah.
we're having more of the rapid eye movement
Mm-hmm.
dreams. Those cycles get longer.
Mm-hmm.
The each successive REM cycle gets longer
Yeah.
and it tends to become more cinematographic and thus a little easier to catch. So I most of the dreams that are the biggest ones that I work with are the ones that come towards the end
Sure.
and
Yeah.
maybe somewhere in the middle of the night, but
Yeah.
usually it's the latter aspect. But it's an interesting thing at the IASD, the International Association for the Study of Dreams, there was recent research done on those little they call them sleep spindles that happen in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning stages of
Mm-hmm.
sleep and the dreams that happen when we're in that early stage, which
Mm-hmm.
most of us would just say, that those don't really count because they're so fast and they don't really have much of a storyline connected and they're just kind of random images. But there's a lot of people that are notating what images are coming from those stages and finding those to be revelatory.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
my perspective is that we are always dreaming even when we're awake.
Yes.
But if we can recall something from our nighttime dream, anything, even if somebody's not good at catching dreams at the end, then it might be easier to catch some of those interesting images that happen when they're first starting to fall asleep. Any of that dream material works. We can work with any of that.
And people they ask me a lot when I'm talking about dreams or something like that. Well, I don't remember my dreams. And my first question is always, are you
Yes.
getting enough sleep? First of all,
Right.
are you sleep
Right.
deprived? How's your sleep hygiene? Because I was actually just running through my theory of halfway through, and because I wear a
Mm.
monitor, I wear the biofeedback,
Oh, oh,
my
oh.
deep sleep happens the first half of my night. I can see and so that's like deep delta where
Oh,
we're not having
interesting.
the REM. And so that's why the
Interesting.
cinematic ones happen.
Yes.
It always seems to be halfway through. Like if it's 8 hours, then it's the first 4 hours. There's more deep sleep occurrences.
That's so good that you're using this. I
I love
I
it. Yeah.
have one, but I don't use it because
Hmm.
I don't know, I think anything that is maybe I just need to get over it because I just have been like, I don't want to be monitored or but I think that'll be a whole other show. Maybe I just need to have a breakthrough
Well,
on that because it would be good to see that.
it bothered me at first because I mean, I wear sometimes my ring, but I don't otherwise wear any jewelry when I sleep. But
Yeah, me too.
I did get used to it. It doesn't bother
Mhm.
me anymore. And what I like
Okay.
about it is because my sleep started to get better when I did monitor it because I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was
Oh,
getting something that was closer to standardized, but then when I see that I actually
mm,
sleep between 8 and 9 hours, I feel like superhuman, and I was like, "Oh, you're supposed to feel like that. I didn't realize that."
oh,
So it did help me
interesting.
with that, yeah.
But
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
a common question about
Mhm.
the people not getting enough,
Yes.
well, not getting enough sleep. I think that's happening across the board.
Yeah.
That's definitely something. Sleep hygiene
Mhm.
can't be overemphasized.
Yeah.
But even we could say just in general, most people don't remember dreams because
Mhm.
they by nature are kind of hard to catch unless they're like usually it's the nightmares that are easier
Mhm.
to remember because they are so emotional. But there's some things that we can do to practice getting our dreams. First of all, we all dream every night, so the
Mhm.
the theory that I'm not dreaming
It's
is
impossible.
erroneous. It's
Yeah.
yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, there's some very rare cases of people that are highly medicated or that have some deep, deep, deep seated psychological problems. And but if you're at all healthy, then you're dreaming. If you're at all rational and sane, that means you're dreaming.
Mhm.
And it's just a matter of setting a strong intent before you go to sleep, but also making sure that the very first thing you do upon awakening is to transcribe the dream, is to either
Yes.
draw a picture of it, record it, or to write, take some notes. If you don't do it, even the most vivid, vivid, vivid dreams will disappear, just like smoke.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's amazing how we most people say, "Oh, I swear I'll remember that dream,"
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
don't. It's just the way the brain works. We move from our more limbic brain as we're dreaming to
Mhm.
our prefrontal cortex, and that's like changing radio dials. We forget the song that was just on
Right.
because there's
Yeah.
another song. Yeah.
Or I talk to my spouse about it too, you know what I mean? Like, if you have a partner, that also can help you to unpack it and record it, and
Yes.
so people will be like, "But I don't remember anything, so what do I write about?" Whatever it is that's on your mind at the time. People what I think would be it's good people
Yeah.
think, "Well, I don't remember my dreams. That's just how I am made." But no, it's that there's not you haven't invited a conversation with your dreams yet. And when you
Right.
like start to just begin to pick up the phone, then then they'll be able to talk back to you. So we do have to set the intention and take action on it. So if you just write down anything that bubbles up to your awareness before you look at your phone, before you start talking to someone else, right?
Right.
Fresh
Well,
out of sleep.
yes.
Mhm.
So, but the issue of picking up the phone is an interesting one
Mhm.
because one of the easiest ways to record dreams is on the phone. So that's
Well, but
there's
don't
kind of
look
a
at the email.
conundrum.
Don't look
But
at the
don't
email.
look at it. Make sure you keep do not disturb and
Yeah.
airplane mode. Do not stay away from the email, stay
Don't go
away
to
from social media.
Instagram, don't go to
This
text.
is your time. You have to make it yours. But
Mhm.
you just brought up a good point. One of the little sneaky tricks that I teach people for how to remember dreams is to get in the habit of writing down something in the
Mhm.
morning
Mhm.
first thing, no matter what, even if you think it's not a dream, whatever thoughts are on your mind
Yeah.
close to dreaming, they're likely to be associated. And if you get into the habit of writing something down, whether it's a song that was on your mind or
Mhm.
whatever strange wisps of thought, you're on the dream bridge during that time. And you will eventually start to actually, if you build that bridge, they will come. You will
Mhm.
start to eventually, it'll start to be a dream that shows up. And it might not be every day, but that's okay. And it's exciting when it does happen. Also, there's another little trick for people who if you who aren't remembering dreams is to if you have to set an alarm because alarms are like the big enemy of dream recall because that loud
Mhm.
jarring noise will take us out. But if you are somebody who has to wake up to an alarm, set it 15 minutes before you have to actually wake up so that you can hit snooze. And in the time that you go back to sleep and snooze, you will start to dream again,
Mhm.
but those dreams will be a little bit easier to catch because you were just awake and you're going back into sleep, so those sometimes those dreams are easier to pick up.
Hey, I think a lot of people would love to hear that the snooze is their friend if they have to wake up to an alarm.
Snooze is your friend.
Dr.
Exactly,
Dream
just
just
one
gave us
snooze,
permission to
not
snooze.
But set your alarm 15 minutes before
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
so that you can do that. But another little trick is
Mm.
to also get FOMO about dreams. So
Oh,
this is kind of a
neat.
shameless plug. My two of my Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I've got a book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and Premonitions, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and the Unexplainable. A lot of people tell me when they read the stories in those books, every single story is so inspiring about an ordinary person that has an extraordinary dream that absolutely changes their life, saves their lives, helps them win the lottery,
Ugh,
like find the love of their life, the job of their life, like they're miraculous stories. So, people, if you just read one of those stories, any random story in any of those books before you go to sleep, you're going to think, I want to have a dream too. So, you set an intent, a
yes.
strong declaration before you go to sleep. And that'll help you to remember when you wake up, oh, yeah, what was I just dreaming about?
Oh,
And to
that's so
not,
cool. I love that
yeah,
your book is actually therapy to getting people excited. Thank you for providing that for us.
it's a good bedtime story because the stories
Yeah.
feel good. They
Mhm.
definitely raise your sense of serotonin. You're gonna feel good when you
Mhm.
read these stories because they're wonderful. The way Chicken Soup for the Soul is constructed,
Yeah.
they're brilliant. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. I want to hear also about, this book. We haven't talked much about it.
Yes,
The Crisis
yes,
is a
yes.
Terrible Thing to Waste. Let us and what month is your birthday? What is your birthday?
August
Oh,
8th, 8/8.
okay.
It's Lionsgate. When's
Oh,
yours?
yours is 8/8. That's so cool. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. And mine is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day.
March Are you kidding me? Okay,
Why?
that's crazy. I've got some synchronicity. I was just writing about St. Patrick's Day
Nuh-uh.
literally, but yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay.
Are we in a
Oh,
dream right now?
yes, and I like it. I love it. Let's keep going. Let's do something really. What should we do?
Oh, I want to
Let's do a podcast.
one little weird thing of a dream that happened to me, I mean, 'cause I if my phone is too close to me, it will pour into my dreams and as I'm waking.
Mm,
So one time when I did the bad thing where I did look at email right after I woke up, I had a dream that my husband it's so random. My husband started to do an impersonation of the actor Aaron Paul, which I hadn't watched a show with Aaron Paul in
Aaron Paul,
Aaron
who is
Paul
that?
is a young, handsome guy. He was in Breaking Bad. He played Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad.
Oh, Aaron Paul.
Yeah,
Yes, got
exactly.
it.
But that's how
Mhm.
it I mean, I haven't seen a movie or a TV show with him lately, so, like, that was a weird dream, and it was so funny because he was doing, like, this really great impersonation, and it was cracking me up in the dream. I woke up, and I
Uh-huh.
picked up my phone like a bad girl, opened an email that was, like, someone's newsletter, and they had a GIF with Aaron Paul in it. And I don't even
Oh,
like, who and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so funny." I'm like, "But I don't want my phone to be giving me suggestions about my dreams. I'll move it a little further away."
move it well, but there's also something, I mean, just on the subject of
Yeah.
synchronicity, to me,
Uh-huh.
this is a really special part of dream work is that when you notice the interesting and very strange correlation, because it's
Yeah.
not just somebody that was an ordinary actor that you think about every day. I mean, that
Yeah.
was Aaron Paul. That's just very specific and kind of
Right.
what? So that to me, that is, I mean, just the whole theory of synchronicity. Dream work puts us in the field
Yes.
of
Of
synchronicity. As a
synchrony.
friend,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, and a friend of mine, Felix Wolf, wrote a book called The Art of Navigation that's all about following synchronicity as if it's a religion, like
Mhm.
that it is what
Yes.
brings us into that place of being in the right place at the right time with the right people doing the right thing. And like all the better it gets, the better it gets. And that whole place. So there's something magical. This is one of the benefits of dream work is that it's an access that everybody has. I mean, you teach channeling, and I think there's something that, like, many all these roads lead to basically the same place. It's
Yeah.
really that place of heaven on earth.
Yes.
And
Mm.
and that's one of the things I think that our dreams are trying to help us get to. And I didn't answer the question about my
I know
my
because
other
I
book,
went on
but
another thing, so
that's okay. That's okay. But I'll say one of the things that this book, A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste, The Art of Transforming the Tragic into Magic,
Mhm.
it's more about kind of looking at life as if it were a dream.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
and knowing, and there's basically a formula that I use for how to transform anything difficult that you're going through and treating it as if the circumstance was as malleable as a dream, because in many ways it is.
It is.
And so, for example, my formula is called OGLE, OGLE, which is a very strange word. It's not something. I mean, we could talk about why I picked that word, but it's a strange word for really looking at something, not just being
Yeah.
satisfied with what's on the surface. So, for example, one
Being
of the stories
obsessed
in my
with something in a way. Yeah.
being
Being
obsessed,
yeah.
yeah, fixated,
Positively
like
fixated. Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
positive way,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
So there's I
Transfixed about it, because I remember
fixed.
one of the I think the first time I heard the word ogle
Uh-huh.
was when I was a teenager, and it was this is so dreamlike, and I don't mean to interrupt, but
Yeah, yeah.
it, it was they were taught I was reading about Marilyn Monroe and the
Mm.
7 year itch, the scene where she's over the subway grate
Yes.
and
Yeah,
she's,
yeah, yeah.
and I remember they said in this thing that I was reading that Joe DiMaggio was infuriated by all of the men standing around ogling her. And so,
Ooh.
she's magical,
Exactly.
she's magnetic, she's
Yeah,
beautiful, that kind of energy of ogling. So I want to hear about ogle
exactly.
or
So
ogle.
I'm suggest exactly. Tomato, tomato, ogle, ogle. I say ogle. Um, so it's where we're not going to be satisfied with just the awful thing that's on the surface. For example, when I was in Colombia on a service trip, my purse was stolen. And
Mm,
in my purse had my laptop, my phone, my
mm,
passport, all my money, all my identification. It was not just an inconvenience. It was like I can't travel from place to place. I have no passport and no way to prove my identity and all my money, and oh my god. So that was just awful, right? On the surface it would be like, no, that just sucks. There's nothing good about this. But I practiced my Ogle formula. The O stands for what's offensive
mhm.
about the difficult situation. So in the O, there's permission to just vent,
Yeah.
to be in the poor me, in the how dare they, in the pity party. And so you have to like kind of get that out. And once empty of that, then you get to move to the G. And the G is what's good about this. And it's hard to think of it sometimes, but sometimes you have to get creative. So what's good or what could be good or what might be good? That well, it might mean that it's going to slow down my trip so that I'm going to end up meeting the people I'm supposed to meet. Or maybe my identity has been robbed. So maybe what could be robbed must like whatever's true can't be robbed. So
Oh.
maybe I'm letting go of something that isn't me. And I noticed on the trip I was the only person that wasn't taking pictures all the time. I was able to really connect with the people, and I found myself feeling sorry for the people that had their technology because I was able to have this a completely different trip than I otherwise would have. So the L is the looking glass. How am I just like the person that did the offensive thing?
Mhm.
So have I ever been a thief?
Yeah.
Yes, when I
Ye
was young, I was a little shoplifter, I was. I
Oh.
just was like, I see that, I want it, I'll take it." And, like, I mean, that was like a little when I was in junior high, it was just like the
Mhm.
thing to do.
Yeah.
So, yes, I've done that, but also on a deeper level, I have been the thief that has stolen my attention by being so fixated with technology
You've
and not
stolen your
being
own attention. Yeah. You've
I
stolen from
I've done it
yourself. Yeah.
I've stolen it from myself. I mean, how many precious moments do we have here? We don't know when our last moment is here. And do I really want to spend it on Instagram the whole time? It's like, no, there's people in front of me, real flesh and blood people. I'm the thief, bigger than anybody that could steal my purse. And then the E is for elevate. So now with all of this understanding, after having been in the O for what's offensive, the G for what's good about it, the L for the looking glass, the E is now how can I elevate my situation? How can I elevate my consciousness? So, my perspective, since I've been back from Colombia, it's so easy for me to hit do not disturb and airplane mode when I'm actually with people. And if I'm actually like writing something that's deep and juicy, my phone my laptop, I can set them aside. They don't own me. I have
Yeah.
them, but they no longer have me. And
Mm.
that wouldn't have happened had I not gone through that. So the OGLE is a way to be able to, I always kind of do a little rap from the O to the G to the L to the E. It's just a way to
Dr. Dreams
eventually get
Kelly, and
free.
she's here for you to see. Oh,
Get
no.
free.
2 white women
D
2
to the
white women
R to the
rapping.
E.
Should we be doing this?
Okay,
We're sorry, world.
this will go in the blooper reel. Only the inner circle will ever get to see this. Oh my god, that's it, but, I think a little acronym, a little song helps us
Mhm.
to remember
Yeah.
what to do, because when we're in a pinch, when we wake up from a nightmare, we're like, "What do I do? What do I do?" We're
Mhm,
out of
mhm,
our minds, we don't know, so it's
mhm.
great to have something that we can, "Oh, yes, let me try this," and then it's like a rope ladder that can bring us back up to consciousness.
I love this. I have to tell you that one of the first cute little classes that I tried to teach, I say tried because I only was only trying. I didn't do it. When I after I had my awakening was,
Mm.
interpret the holograph of your life. So basically
Ooh,
like that, it was that. It was like, imagine your life is a dream, the things that are going on. It's all here for
yeah,
you, and what is the
exactly.
symbology of it just like in a dream, so
I love that. That's exactly what I do, because this is one of the things I love about dream work, is that in dreams we can suspend our ordinary disbelief. Like if a dream ends in a disempowering way, I can say, well, if you were back in that dream and you were lucid and you had access to anything, what would you do? to
Mhm.
to make it so that the dream ain't over until you're happy, until you are fulfilled and powerful. So what would it take to get you there? So I feel like my clients and myself, it's easier to think of a dream in a more malleable way, because
Mhm.
dreams are like that. And once we've done that for a while, we start to notice the through line between how we can do that in our dreams, our nighttime dreams, and our waking life, and realize, oh my God, I can also shift my thinking about what's happening right here and notice things changing. And it ain't over until I feel good about it. And we have a lot more directorial input
Yeah.
over the dream of our lives than we realize, just like we have directorial input over our nighttime dreams. So it's just, all of it is very empowering. We don't have to, even though there's a war going on right now, and I don't mean to sugarcoat, and there's two wars going
There's
on
yeah,
in this
exactly.
world.
Mhm.
And I know the helplessness. Like, we all of course want to fix it, we want to change it, and we can make donations, we can picket, we can call our senators, we can do all
Mhm.
kinds of things, but we also need to make sure to look at ourselves, at where am I warring with myself. And we can always, if we look for it, we'll find it. And that's the good news. When we find it internally, then we're not so helpless. Then we can actually do something. We can bring some light and some awareness to those parts of us that just feel hopeless and helpless.
Mm.
And as we shift that, we do change the mirror of our lives around us.
Wow. We have to begin to dream the new reality before even through our own individual selves, because it takes all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. And
had an
yeah.
epiphany in that. I had an epiphany
Yeah.
in that
That's
people
it.
love to they wanna do lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
And, and that's a and sometimes my dreams are just I find myself being able to direct them, but basically we can do lucid dreaming, just not fully with our body totally asleep. It's the same thing. And there's something about waking delta to be able to have the delta dreamwave state while you're awake that is actually like magic. It changes reality
Mm.
really quickly. It's something
Mm.
that has been notated. But sorry, you had a yeah, what did lucid
Yes.
dreaming?
No,
Yeah.
like right around, like on this subject, because it's
Hmm.
true, a very small percentage of people are ever going to be lucid dreamers. We might have one or two, but it's not everybody's path to be a lucid dreamer. That's not necessarily the be all end all,
Hmm.
but we can all work on a dream in a lucid way in our waking state. And
Right.
I'd been doing this for years with people.
Mhm.
I called it dream redirection. That was like my thing. And then I found out that they'd been doing all kinds of research at Harvard on this very same thing, with and all other sleep study places, with people that have had tremendous PTSD related dreams,
Mhm.
post traumatic stress related dreams, um, and teaching people in their waking state while connected to the memory of their dream to either draw a picture or to write the ending of the story or to talk about how they wish their dream would end if they were in control. And that changes, like the dreams often will stop, or
Mhm.
they will, like, their situation will get tremendously better. They call it imagery rehearsal therapy, IRT, clinically tested. There's tons of books, tons of data on this exact thing. And it's a revelation because we can all do this. And when I was on the Dr. Oz show the first time, I was with a researcher who had been working on this, and she and I collaborated in the green room because the goal of imagery rehearsal therapy is to get somebody who's traumatized by their dream to get them to neutral. But my perspective has always been, if you're going to work on a dream, why stop at neutral? Why not end
Mhm.
at ecstatic? Like,
Yeah.
why not overcome King Kong and, like, turn King Kong into your ally, and then the two of you, like, have this glorious life. Like, instead of it just like, I'm no longer in absolute terror, but I mean, we can while we're doing surgery, we can make ourselves, like they used to say about the bionic man and the bionic woman, you can make them bionic.
Yeah.
Like, make them, give them a superpower. So
And that's also similar to why hypnotherapy works. Similar, you know what I mean? Because we hypnotherapists induce a person into the subconscious mind for a kind of lucid or waking dream exploration. So that's why it's the powerful therapy. And I think that's why any therapy
exactly,
ever works is because we are tapping into that area.
exactly.
Just how quickly does one get there?
And
Not
exactly, how
directly.
much are
Mhm.
exactly, and can we really believe this new thought?
Mhm.
And yeah, it's persistent. Some of our negative thought patterns are persistent, and it's almost like, and I know for myself, and I there's a whole story about that, but how much when I had this awareness that I was clinging as much to my drama as I was to, like, oh, these are the good things that I love about me or love about life. I'm maybe more so. It's
Mhm.
like the pain, we don't realize how persistent it is as there's buzz saws going on outside. There's, it's like, don't leave me. Like, it's an amazing phenomenon when we see it. And once we see it, then we can start to shift.
Wow. I have to let you go at some point, but I definitely wanna have you back on, and I wanna do more stuff. I'm having these visions of us doing workshops together and everything.
Do it. Let's do it, Trisha. I love you, and we live
I love
near
you
each
too.
other. And
Yeah, this is so great, I know. Well, can you
yeah.
tell everyone you have all of the books, you have the new book, how can people work with you, reach you, be blessed by the incredible work that you're doing?
Well, if the sounds outside aren't too loud, I'll say,
Oh, I
I'll
can't
tell
hear it
you.
at all. We can't hear it
Oh,
at
that's
all.
so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
thank God, thank God. So, the book "A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste" is available now also on audio, and
Okay.
the audio just won the New York City Big Book Award for Best Audio, so
Wow,
that's
cool.
exciting. It was Women's World Book of the Week, and
And you
it's won a
voiced it,
bunch of.
right? You voiced
Yes,
it? I'm sure,
yes.
because your voice is amazing, so good, yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's the first audiobook I've ever done, and that
Mhm.
was quite a journey, and I'm very proud of it. I'm excited about that. So, A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste. It's available everywhere. Also, I have DreamWork practitioner training that
Mm.
I teach that's available on my website at Kelly Sullivan Walden /dreamwork. And I have the Ogle formula for people that aren't ready to buy the book and they just want the Ogle formula for themselves with a little deeper description. You can get that for free on my website, kellysullivanwalden.com. So if you're going through something right now that's just like you're just grappling with it, or you're noticing it's a pattern and you just want to end it already, then just go to kellysullivanwalden.com, fill out the little form, and you'll get your free little Ogle worksheet along with my Jet Set dream interpretation formula.
Wow, cool.
So those are just some free offerings. And I'm on social media, Kelly Sullivan Walden Dreams on Facebook, and Kelly S. Walden on Instagram. and Twitter and Kelly Sullivan Wald. That was like
Yeah,
I
I know, right?
screwed up on
Oh.
TikTok and I couldn't unfix it. That's funny. That's how to find me.
What what are we gonna ogle about that one? No.
Exactly. I'm just saying, hey, it just makes it funny.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've got a podcast, the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show on
Oh,
Mind, Body, Spirit.
oh,
Yeah, so I'm
wonderful.
gonna have you on, Missy,
Please,
if you
yes, I
would
want
do me the
to.
honor.
Oh my gosh, that'd be
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, we'll talk about that. All of Kelly's links and everything are in the show notes. And wow, I seriously, I just can't, I can't believe it. I had no expectations of how wonderful this was going to be. Had the best time with you and this work that you're doing, and you're so authentic, and you have this
Mm,
transparent, glowing golden heart just shining through your
thank
being.
you.
So thank you so much for being here, for all of the work you're doing in our beautiful world, everyone. Kelly Sullivan Walden, thanks for being here,
Thank you,
and
Tricia Carr.
and
You're
we'll be seeing
amazing.
her again
It's been such
soon.
a pleasure.
We heard it right here.
Yes, my sister from another mister. You are so wonderful. Thank you for
Mm.
having me, and I'm gonna listen. I wanna see what you've got on this video that you're gonna show
Okay,
everybody.
good. Well, thank you so much. Okay, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. And yeah, if you wanna chat afterward, you can hang out. But it's totally fine if you don't. I have
Okay.
something for you guys. So thank you, Kelly, for coming on the show. And everyone, stay tuned. We are going to watch a little something here. Oh, look what I have on my head. I have to change the banner. So, I wanted to tell you all about the event that I have coming up, which is just this Sunday. And if you are listening to this at some time outside of this Sunday, it is a regular workshop that is a part of my Modern Mystic subscription, where we meet twice monthly, once for a live group meditation, once for a 2-hour workshop that is bomb. I'll just tell you that, amazing. And then also I give you content throughout the week 2 to 4 times, just little things to keep you going. Usually some exclusive teaching, 7 to 10 minutes, but that's my Modern Mystic subscription. So this clip that I'm going to show you is from last month's Archangel Michael live channeling session, and this week on October 15th, we're having a session like this with where I'm going to be channeling Archangel Raphael. Now, as it concerns brain waves and what's going on here, I want to tell you about that after the clip. So here we go. It is only partially aligned with you. There is a portion of it, a half portion of it, that needs to be just left behind entirely. But there is something that you take forward that is entirely your own. And so there is another situation that you take your gifts to. And we understand that tomorrow you must get up and do the things that will fulfill obligations and that will allow the seeking and allow the magnetism to happen. And we say that all you really need to do to be attuned for those things to be fruitful is to attend to your vessel first. You know, your nervous system is a sign of how much you're tending to the soil of you. So if you can spend extra time, if you will, pardon us for choosing to hack something like time, which is so precious in the difficult, rough and tumble lives that humans live, we empathize, we sympathize. But we ask you to take some extra time, to take back some of the space, and to deeply regulate and find yourself in a state of bliss and comfort and ease. We ask you to continue to do that throughout the day and start over entirely before you begin a task. This will create the magnetism. It will send you to the place where your gifts are utilized properly. Not only utilized, but enhanced. So tomorrow, as you set forth for your tasks, be sure to not cut short any of the time that you set aside to be able to tend to your garden, to properly nurture the soil of you. That nervous system allowing you to always be aware. We ask you to be more attuned to your nervous system so that you can attune your nervous system. And then that will balance the fire within you. This is the Archangel Michael, who is the representative, the overseer of the element of fire. We ask you to keep that fire of your nervous system in the way, the rage or the calm that is just right for that moment. It never being in a sense of being uncomfortable, too mellow or too hot. To find it, to stoke it, or to soothe it. Because this is a driving force for you to be well and for you to be fully who you are, for your talents, your gifts, your inspirations, your voice, your truth, to be able to coalesce with another and to bring to you the different things that you need, the sustenance for yourself, the safety, and the way that you can continue to move forward as the blessing that you are. So while this is entirely practical, it is also, if we may give you the suggestion, it is extremely mystical to tend to your nervous system at the top of the day of tasks and at all times throughout. This fire element is at the crux of how the question will be answered and how the manifestation will unfold. If there isn't enough fire, then it can't possibly unfold. And if there is too much fire, then it will burn down the unfolding before it is even materialized. Can you imagine this? Can you sense this? This is what we would like for you. This simple tool is, in fact, a hidden mystery to humans. As of yet, even the ones who are aware of it is still so hidden that the magic of tending to the fire in the just right way and at all times, it is a sacred prayer. It keeps your heart beating at the correct resonance so that it can create the magnetizing field to pull everything into you. Does this picture unfold for you? That the fire has to be attended to correctly so the resonance can be properly attuned, and that the magnetizing frequencies can find one another. If you are not in your home frequency, then how could you possibly find the right relationships? You wouldn't recognize one another. So this simple yet so valuable, creating value as you do, tool, we ask you to pray into your life in each moment. Tend to the fire, tend to the soil, tend to the air, tend to your light. All right. So that was again from one person asking, what do I need to know about my job situation? And to just sum it up, essentially, just breathing slowly and deeply and easily, which regulates the nervous system into that right place, actually creates a heart resonance, which is magnetizing. And then the places and people will be able to recognize you. Well, it was really interesting. I had to rewatch it because I don't have memory, very clear memory. It's like being in a dream when I come out of it. But what is the value of creating an event like this and doing this is not just simply by the fact that a person gets to ask a question and then it is answered from the higher self representation of us all. In this case, it came through the portal of the archetype of the archangel being of light called Michael, and that but there's something also about the state that I hold, as I mentioned on the podcast with Kelly, that a waking delta state actually can create miracles instantaneously. And also, the theta state is something that is highly creative. Well, it's not only that I'm holding that state, but I'm transmitting it. It's coming through me and those who are present to it. And even as we are watching it in a replay like this, we can receive the transmission of those frequencies. It's more than the words, it is all of the fractalized sounds, light, and the coding that comes through. So I'm going to be doing that more frequently. And for now, I'm going to be doing it in the Modern Mystic subscription. So this Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, you can either drop in or you could subscribe for that 11.11, which is really $11 per month. And then you can participate. And it's just a way for us to come together in community as well. We have some people here on the live session who are part of the community who make it the beautiful thing that it is. So I just wanted to make a heartfelt, extended invitation to those who would be listening And I also wanted to just share with you to, again, sign up for my newsletter because I think today, it may be today or it may be tomorrow morning, I'm announcing an exciting new class. Well, I'll give you a spoiler alert. I'll give you a preview. I have a fairy and nature elemental certification course coming up to actually be able to become a fairy and nature elemental reader if that's what you want, or to be able to gain this for your own life, specifically for manifestation and healing. And again, we're talking about these states that we would be in. That's what we're going to be working through and on. So, or it's experiential too. So you could just come to receive the healing and the deep inspiration. I also have a spirit animal workshop coming up where you can actually learn how to read spirit animals for yourself or for others. And I have intuitive psychic development levels 1, 2, and 3 coming up soon. So those are my invitations and my shouts, and as well as the Sacred Sphere, which is that community that meets twice per month for specific growth and practices, meditation and teaching, and community working together to receive readings from your fellows, or for to practice manifestation. And that's 2 meetings per month, and it's you can subscribe for 55 or you can drop in. So that's what I have for you in this episode. Wow, I had the best time with Kelly Sullivan Walden. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are. Wrong one.